This one. Start recording OBS. OBS is recording. Riverside's recording. My camera's recording.
My camera's recording. That's all I have to
And the
do.
live stream. Oh, look, I see us on YouTube. So that's this. Why is stupid Riverside? I'm on the bottom. You're on the top right. And the screen share is on the top left.
That is.
Doesn't that seem weird?
Is it the order that we joined in? No.
No, because I put the screen share up last.
Yeah.
And you were here before me.
I've been
So
here
I don't
for...
understand the. But I'm going to. We're recording.
Yes.
Well, it says I'm the host. I'm 99% uploaded. I cannot pause your upload. I don't know if you're uploading.
It says... The status says that it's being recorded on my computer.
I could preview it. Well, that's showing me my recording. Holy crap. This is... I think there's a bug over here, but we have local recordings. I'm not terribly worried. But your camera's definitely recording.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Maybe.
I should make sure, or
I can flip the
OBS.
screen out.
OBS is legit actually recording.
Yep. I've been recording for 1:45. 1:45.
Oh, I can't see that. It's hiding behind a monitor.
I'm like Gunner telling
Did
time.
you
Okay.
notice, Tubby, that I did not... Oh, I also
Spill
didn't
any
turn
coffee?
this light on. I did not spill my coffee. That's a little too bright. This coffee's water.
This water's coffee.
The last episode I uploaded, I did not put the intro in. I started with a little bit of an outtake. And
Yeah. The last
rolled in.
two kind of had outtakes at the beginning.
I thought that was fun.
They
I don't
were
know
fun.
if it's... But I think, if you don't mind, I think we're going to skip introducing us before these episodes. I think it's superfluous.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know.
I'm going to say it's superfluous.
I think it's superfluous.
So, I don't know if anybody's watching. It just says one. That's probably Chris or Yulia. So I don't have to explain to you guys what we're doing.
Or me. And it might just be bad numbers.
So, Uncle Brian, did you see this new thing?
What new thing are we talking about?
This new feature in Tailscale.
I did. I saw them tweet about it while I was on vacation and said,
Oh, you missed it.
If I was at home, I'd play with this. But
Do you know what I did when I saw the tweet?
I think you probably...
I started setting up Tailscale SSH almost immediately.
I bet
Almost,
you
like
did.
maybe an hour or two after it showed up.
What do you-
That's not true. I was asleep an hour or two after the tweet showed up. But an hour or two after I consumed the tweet,
the minute
I was turning Tailscale SSH on everywhere.
the minute you were aware of it, you were Tailscale SSHing all of the things.
I think I was. And I'm mostly covered. My own stuff is all Tailscale SSH to now.
What about this Raspberry Pi over here?
No, I've been afraid to do that one because you were on vacation and I needed to upload video for Jeremy for the Create and Vent podcast, and I didn't want if I goobered that up, that would have been a bummer.
That would have been a bummer.
But I should do that after I get your video from tonight's live stream. Maybe I'll just go in and do that.
Or you could wait till you're over here next. Bring your
Bring my laptop just in case. But you haven't even asked me a question.
I have not.
The important.
What is Tailscale SSH?
I'm glad you asked, Tubby. I'm so glad you asked. They've the Tailscale folks have embedded a Go SSH library into the Tailscale client, and I guess it's been there for a while, just not active, at least not for us. And I'm going to edit this pause out because I don't know which the next part I was going to say was going to be. We don't really need to know the technical details. We'll stay pretty high up here, but normally you either use a password to log into a server via SSH, or you have a private key and you distribute your public key all over your network, and those keys talk to each other and figure out if it's you and decide whether to let you in or not. But Tailscale is already shuffling around public and private keys for you from every machine to every other machine, and so why have two sets of public and private keys, Tubby?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, that's the bummer. We still have to, because
Yeah.
for me to push to GitLab, I have to have a public key up there. So I'm still gonna have to maintain public keys. I'm still gonna have to use my SSH agent to cache my credentials. But I feel like this is a step in the right direction, because I don't know how you do things, Tubby, but I try to have one private key on every one of my workstations, and then I have to distribute so that's, for right now, that's 3 public keys that have to be on every machine that I own, the ones of yours that I log into. I have to have one on GitLab, one on GitHub. They're everywhere, and you have to... Some of my keys are getting pretty old, Tubby. And
I bet it's not older than my keys.
I bet you might be surprised. I'm a little afraid to look. I think one of mine says it's from 2013. The one on my desktop here.
I bet you mine's about
that might be
old.
a lie, but I don't think that's a lie.
It might be older.
But I've been thinking I need to update these keys. I still haven't distributed my new laptop's key anywhere. And now I really don't have to.
Yeah.
Because I turned on Tailscale SSH, and now if you just turn it on, you can SSH from any of your machines to any of your other machines with no passwords. It just lets you in. What do you have any concerns about that, Tubby?
No, but I probably should be. I assume that all of those private keys are being managed by Tailscale, right?
Yep, and they're there already for the WireGuard connections. It's not a new key that's being shipped around. I'm a little worried about this because some of my machines are less secure than others, like my web server out on the internet. If somebody breaks into that and I leave the defaults, well, that's not quite true, but let's say it is anyway. If you leave the defaults, maybe someone would SSH from my web server to my desktop, and then they have everything once they get in here, right? This is bad news. That's not quite true, because it will try to re-authenticate through the browser if you initiate a new SSH connection, and the guy on the other end is not going to be able to authenticate that.
Yeah.
But I turned that off. I'm not authenticating with the web browser. I just enabled some. I've got them in my blog post over here in the screen share.
Okay.
These. What I wound up doing was this was a pain, Tubby, because I've not tagged any of my machines yet, and I have 23 Tailscale devices. So I had to go in and I tagged them all as. I think it's 23.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but I could be wrong.
Well, let's say
Do you think that's right?
Let's say
it's probably close. But I had to go in. I tagged all of the. Everybody's got a server tag on it now, pretty much. And my 2 laptops and my desktop have a workstation tag. And I set up the ACL over here, probably down here. I'll paste it up here. My Tailscale network will let me SSH without authentication from any of my 3 workstations to anything that's tagged workstation or server. So I can go from my laptop to my desktop to the web server, but not the other way around. The scary machines can't get back into me.
That makes sense.
And boy, there's so many. I should have put an order for these notes for what to talk about. I have keys sprinkled out in places that can only talk from one machine to another, usually for backups. Like you might have a backup server that can connect to some other server to rsync things back, and those keys are they're worrisome because you have to have a way to unlock them. Either you leave them unencrypted or, and you want to swap those out a lot. It's a scary thing, but sometimes you want servers to be able to connect to other servers and do things, right? Now I don't need to do any of that. I don't need to worry about those keys being out on the machines. I can say backup server can connect to these 3 servers.
Yeah.
In the centralized Tailscale GUI.
Oh, and that's nice. Yeah.
And we tend to think of, it's not quite true. You think of your SSH keys as belonging to a person or a user account. But when you put that key on that server, your backup server out there somewhere, it's not really just your backup user's key. It's a little bit fragile because anybody else who can log into that machine may be able to, if there's a goof up with permissions or something, they may get that key and now they could get from your backup server to your web server and put spam up on your blog, and that would be a bummer. But what I'm realizing with the way Tailscale has this set up, Tailscale SSH is making me feel like each machine can authenticate to other machines. And that's less fine-grained than what I'm used to with Sprinkle and public keys around. But really, that's the way it's always been with a little... I don't have the analogy. I lost the analogy I was going to use there. It flew away, just like that. Just like the birds we've been pasting into Discord today. But just because I think my backup user is the only guy, is the gentleman who can connect to the web server, really it's the whole backup server might be able to connect to the web server, and that's... You have to be careful with this stuff, and Tailscale is making me... I don't know if it's making me realize this, but it's... No, I don't like that. I don't like what I'm saying, Tubby.
Okay.
Are you getting what I'm thinking? Is this making sense?
Maybe.
All right, how about this? You and Gunner both log into a computer.
Yep.
Right? And you used to have an SSH key pair. You had the private key on that computer. Gunner logs in. For you folks out on the internet that don't know, Gunner is Brian's very young son.
6-year-old.
He's very small. 6 years old. But he logs into the computer, and he starts poking around up through directories, and he finds your private key, and he SSHs to somewhere that he shouldn't be. I mean, in theory, you're 2 different users on the same machine, and Gunner should not be able to SSH the things you do. But maybe something's a little broken, and he manages to do it, and it's... Really, we should be treating it like, this is your workstation. Brian uses this workstation. The workstation has access to X, Y, and Z. And really, you should be the only one using that workstation, Tubby. I'd feel... It's kind of how I'm treating it. I only put my outgoing key, my outgoing authorization, on the machines that only I use.
Yeah.
Oh, and my phone. That's a thing I use too. Yeah, that was amazing, Tubby. I started setting this up. I added my phone to the workstation group. I SSH'd somewhere, and it just connected. I mean, I have no keys on my phone.
That's fine.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, and... Well, I guess not... No, that wouldn't work. I couldn't give you my laptop, and you could SSH.
No, this is a bummer, and it's not a limitation of the technology. It's a limitation that Tailscale's put on there because it's scary.
Yeah.
But my absolute favorite Tailscale feature is the machine sharing.
Yes.
And Brian and I share a development server that publishes Butterwhat blogs and other things, but it has previews of Butterwhat blogs and things. Brian is still going to have to use OpenSSH and his OpenSSH key because you can't set up an ACL to let Brian's Tailscale user SSH into my server that I own that I've shared with Brian. It's not a huge limitation. This isn't that big of a deal. But It's something to be aware of.
Yeah,
But someday,
it bums me out when you can't share things. You can't share a relay node either.
I think you can now.
Really?
Well,
That's-
things get unlocked constantly
Yeah,
in the Tailscale changelogs, and I think you can share a relay node now.
that'd be exciting because I couldn't before. That's when I was running. They won't let you. I don't want to say they won't let you, but you're not able to run Tailscale right on the TrueNAS host right now. So I had to set up a relay node to do most of my stuff on TrueNAS, and I couldn't
Yep.
share that. I tried to share that and couldn't.
I think you
But
can now
that's
share
been-
relay nodes
that's been
and exit
months.
nodes, but I'm not positive.
Let us know in the comments if we're right about that.
But yeah,
One of us is right. One of us is.
I'm gonna let us know in the comments by the time we publish this anyway, so it'll be okay.
But yeah, Tailscale's. Well, I don't want to say its best feature is it's so easy. I mean, it's
Tubby, we didn't even tell anyone what Tailscale is.
well.
What if
we'll,
I skip that to the beginning of the video? If you want to give us can you give us an elevator pitch on what you think what Tailscale is to you? Maybe.
Well, Pat, I can give you that. Tailscale is just by far the easiest VPN I've ever used. But it's not your traditional VPN. It's really,
That's a lie, Tubby. It is a traditional VPN. The other things that everybody's selling, schlocking on YouTube, that's a particular subset of
Yeah.
VPNs.
That's a good point.
It's a VPN to connect your own stuff to your own stuff,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yes. Yeah. It's a mesh VPN. You get encrypted endpoints, or you get encrypted tunnels between any of your devices that you've got Tailscale running on. And
Yep.
it's
So if I have my phone and my laptop in a hotel on the Wi-Fi,
Yep.
they will tunnel directly to each other without even leaving the hotel. So it's not like with traditionally we'd set up WireGuard at home and the phone and laptop would WireGuard back to the house. Then you'd be in your hotel in Tokyo
yeah,
and your packets would go to the house in
and then back
Texas
to Tokyo.
and then back to Tokyo to get to your laptop, and that would be a bummer. For some people that doesn't matter. It'll never be of consequence, but for others it's ridiculously important.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think I should have scripted some of that, but I'm okay with that. I think I can make an episode out of that.
Okay. What didn't we talk
And if you're
about?
using Tailscale or Zero Tier or Internet, have you seen Internet?
I have not.
That's a neat one. I don't even know. For all I know, it died. I don't even know. I haven't heard a word about it in almost a year, but I haven't looked either. Internet with 2 N's, no T, like inside
Internet.
in there. But if you're using Tailscale, you're enjoying Tailscale, let us know what you're doing with it down in the comments. And if you work for Tailscale, you guys can hire Brian and I if you need us to do videos for you. I have no idea how much to charge for something like that. But Brian's looking for work, he told me.
Always.
That's might be a lie, but that's okay. Can we call that an episode, Tubby?
I think so. Tailscale's awesome.
It's got to be. Tailscale is really awesome. Eight-inch choking hazard. I didn't notice that.
Commander Riker.
Yeah.
That ain't right.
Well, what do you want to do next, Tubby?
I don't know. What do you want to do? You want to talk about your backpack doodads?
My backpack thing. Well, hang on. Let me go pick that up over here. I can't reach it.
I can be your backpack while
Can I
you run.
reach anything from here? Book bag.
Book bag.
Do you remember the West Wing?
I do.
On the West Wing, the Secret Service's nickname for President Bartlett's daughter was Book Bag.
Oh, interesting. I thought they
I
got to
remember
pick
thinking
their
that
own
was funny.
nicknames.
Do you pick your own nickname?
I think so. What? I wonder. I thought the president and vice president got to pick their own.
I don't know. I've never been in the Secret Service.
God, what would your Secret Service nickname be, Pat?
Potato.
Potato. Mine would have to be one of the
What would I
seven-
be in? You wouldn't be like, the eagle is in the nest.
Yeah,
Where would the potato be?
the potatoes in the pot.
In the pot or the...
He's been diced
Yeah, but
and
that's
he's in
like
the fryer.
cooking. That's like the potato's in trouble if the potato's in the pot. I don't know
He's-
where the potato would be
He's
safe.
been diced in the fryer, in the ground. He's been planted.
I have eyes on the potato. Oh, good gravy. I have props for this. I have little bits and pieces of carbon fiber here. I'm going to move my mug out of the way so I don't submerge these
That's a good
accidentally.
idea.
Can you imagine if I had to dig these out? You got anything you can ask me about there, Tubby?
I got lots of things I could ask you about. Do we, since we're not doing a formal introduction to each episode,
Oh, I have this too, Tubby.
I can't see that. You're all pixelated. Oh, it's
Oh no,
leavings.
leavings. I've got leavings to show off.
Okay.
Okay. Tubby, I got something new up on Tindy.
Do you?
Do you want to see it?
I would. I think I know what it is. I'd like to see it.
Do you want me to show it to you?
Do you want to show it to me?
I could show you one because I've got them on this this laptop. I only have one of my laptop bags out here. I don't know where the other one is. No, I do know. It's on the other side of this door, hanging on a hook.
That's a good spot.
I can't
for it.
show you that one, and I don't know if this is going to come out so good. But I'm going to show it off in person anyway.
I was hoping that you were going to put one of these on your shirt and just have it on
Just
you.
strap things to my shirt.
Yeah.
Got this little piece of carbon fiber bolted to my bags to put a little Velcro strap, big old honking Velcro strap through. I've got one over here holding that PlayStation controller on my little laptop bag here.
Nice. What
Yeah, I've had a problem. My little bag, I ride to the park with that bag on my wheel, and it's getting hot outside. And I didn't plan this. I don't have anywhere to put water in that bag.
No, you don't. It's a small bag.
It's a very small bag. So, yeah, the first thing I did was I cut something that looks like the top plate on our mini quads, our FPV drones. Tubby,
It does. Yeah.
to put a strap through the thing, and one of those is on my bag. And I thought that was pretty cool. What you do is you take two of these and sandwich them together, so that instead of I don't know how to sew. Do you know how to sew? That's a lie. I could sew a button on my shirt, Tubby.
I'll have you know that I took textile arts in high school.
Wow, we called it home ec when I was
Well,
in I didn't do it in high school. I did it in middle school, intermediate
Yeah,
school.
it was home ec. It was home ec for us in middle school too. But in high school, it was just textile arts. I mean, it was an art class. I did knitting and crocheting and sewing.
Wow.
It was we had to take some sort of art class, and I'm not creative. I don't.
That was
I don't
your
like
art.
any of it. That was my art.
So I could have called you to sew things on my bag instead of figuring out how to do it with nuts and bolts.
Yeah, but I was out of town when you were doing all of this. So,
Oh, that's a good point, Tubby. That's a very good point.
and you had a pretty good motivation for getting the most out of your carbon fiber
I
boards,
did.
right?
Yeah, this is pretty big, and it doesn't need to be. This would go on our quads, and we could crash into a tree at 100 miles an hour, and the battery won't break off.
Yeah.
Right? That is not the goal when I'm riding on my wheel with my bag. I just want to
don't-
carry something that weighs, a pound, pound and a half. It doesn't need 4 points and a huge piece of carbon fiber. I brought them down to this little guy, this little asymmetric gentleman here. Because Tubby, for one of your blogs, I cut these rectangular carbon fiber ducts that I sell on Tindy, and I sell a reasonable number of these. But I get left with, do you see this? Can you see this, Tubby?
I could see it. Yep.
This is enough to cut 5 sets of the no-sew hanger doodads. And I feel excited about that because I'm wasting less expensive. It's not that expensive, but
It's expensive enough.
yeah, it seems wasteful to throw away this 20 millimeter strip of. I got it's probably. Tubby, what's the minus of 400 plus 300? That's 700 by 20. There's somewhere around 700 millimeters by 20 millimeters, like of carbon.
Okay.
So I needed something that was less than 20 millimeters, and hopefully not just barely, because if you screw up, like you can see, I got pretty close to the edge over here, and these are just barely holding on. I've goofed up before and cut too close to the edges, and one of the ducts doesn't have a bottom. One set, like the 3 at the bottom, are just garbage because I
That's a
aim
bummer.
wrong. Yeah, so you don't want to be too close. But these are handy. I've wanted to put them on all my bags everywhere. I'm thinking I don't like the tripod strap on one of my camera bags. So I was going to throw 1 or 2 of these on there so I could put a Velcro strap around the
Yeah, I
the
just
top of the tripod.
I just got a new camera bag for Father's Day, and I don't like its tripod strap very much. Or I'd like to beef it up. This would do
Yep.
it.
And you know how well we can cinch down a
A battery.
battery strap, Velcro
Yep.
strap. You could put something on there tight. It works pretty well.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about the tripods on there. Way too loose. It just flops around. It bugs
Yep.
me.
But I've been thinking of not only have I been thinking of other things, I haven't put this in the store yet, but this old headphone case is my Pi KVM kit. And there's a carbon fiber plate on the inside, and there's a little kind of a. This is trouble, Tubby, and everybody in the comments, I need help. I don't know what to call any of this.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That needs to be the call to action of this video because you and
Yeah,
I.
this carabiner hook is fantastic, but I don't know what to call this. I don't. Like, you can see the description. It's a no-sew carbon fiber strap hook for your backpack, which is just descriptive.
Thing, yes.
I don't know what words anyone would put into Google to find something like this. I think it's handy. I think it's great that somebody like me who can't. I mean, I could sew a button, Tubby, but I know that I can't sew through a. You know how thick the strap material is,
Yeah,
and how thick the canvasy material of a backpack
backpack is. You'd need a.
Yeah, I mean, you need quite a needle and some kind of thimble to push that sucker through.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. And thick thread, I have no idea how to do any of this. But I could poke a couple of holes, push some M3 screws through it, bolt it together, and it seems to be working well. Because it spreads the load across the whole. Instead of just the screw, the load is spread across the whole piece of carbon.
Carbon, yeah.
And I don't know what to call them, but I'm uploading them to printables. I'm going to do that this week when I finish up. I have to fix I broke the parametric parts in the OpenSCAD code, Tubby. They're
Like
cutting
rentals.
correctly, but if I change the parameters, it goes wonky. I have a piece of math that's not referencing the right thing somewhere. I
Interesting.
want to fix that before I upload.
I know
it.
this feeling.
But these don't have to be carbon. These would be fine in plastic for most things. But I think it's cool that I'm using this. This will hold. You will break your backpack or whatever you're hooking to your bag before you break this little piece of 2mm carbon. I mean, I can't break this with my hand.
God, that seems like a fun.
Holy crap!
That seems like a fun video. What could we do?
I've been
Put it up in a tree and hang from it or something?
Yeah. Tubby, I've been trying to figure out how to hook it to something and put a rope over it so I can hold on and see how if it would hold me up or who it would hold up or
Like
it'll
the
hold
super
it'll
glue
hold
guy,
more
right?
than
That would
canvas.
glue himself to a.
Crazy glue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to do something
Yeah.
like that.
I would love to do something like that. I just haven't figured out how to rig anything like that up yet. But we need your help, friends. We need well, I need your Brian doesn't need help. I need help. I need to know what to call these things.
Pat needs to name
What kind
his
of
product.
words to put in here for my SEO. Yeah,
That's-
because if you show this to someone and they'll say, "Holy crap, I need that on my backpack." If
Yeah.
they need it, it's obvious that you need it if you see it, but you don't even know it's available. You don't know how to search for it.
Some guys out there, he just got a brand new backpack, spent a lot of money on it, and he wishes it had some straps.
It's missing
And
one feature.
And he's gonna exchange that, or he's gonna buy a whole nother backpack. What would that guy be punching into Google
Yeah.
to add to Pat's product description and or
Tubby,
title?
today I was thinking about reversing this and using this to hold a 3D print on the inside.
Yep.
Like what I was thinking in my Pi KVM kit, like right here, I can put a 3D printed square with, you'd think I'd have kept one out here instead of hiding it somewhere. A little, like, USB receptacles, so I could put some USB drives and SD cards and things right up in slots up here on the inside of the bag.
Yeah.
So then it does double duty. It would be the hook and the... I think there's going to be a lot of cool ideas, Tubby.
I think so too. You're gonna need to buy a bag that's not black to demonstrate it on, so that you can
It's
show.
true,
You can
because
show
it's
the
hard to
bit.
see.
Like, you need some contrast. Yeah,
I need a white bag.
maybe red.
Red. Oh, I'd like to have a red bag.
Oh, I've got
I'd
a
look
red
cool.
backpack
Would
somewhere.
I look cool with the red bag?
Well, you'd look cooler.
Oh, okay. I'll take cooler. I'll take that. Definitely. For sure. I think that counts as an episode, Tubby.
I think so too.
That's 2 down.
I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about it too. And I'm putting it in way more places than I really need to. And I need some help figure I need people to order them to tell me I'm using too big or too small of screws.
Yeah.
Because I had that one on the side of my laptop bag, that's all padded around the outsides. So you need quite a lot of screw to get, through that 1/2 inch of padding.
Yeah.
But not too much, but you end up compressing it a lot. It's not, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but we're learning. Every
We'll
bag
figure
I
it
put
out.
one on, I learn something.
And every bag might be a little bit different. You might, I don't know. Like, somebody might want
It's-
to put it on the back of the backpack where there's more padding.
Yeah.
I don't know why they
And,
want to put
I've
it
been
there.
thinking of, do you know those, on your backpack, the camera hook things?
Mm-hmm.
That they sell the clamp to the strap, and then you lock your DSLR right into the... You see people on YouTube walking around with them. I've been thinking there's probably something I could do, something useful I could do that would hook to the straps
Yeah.
of a book bag. But if I move it to 3D prints, I could do all kinds of snaps, and I haven't figured out what to do yet, but I'm excited. I'm
That is
excited about the
exciting.
possibilities. I didn't even know this was an option until I put the first one on, and now the gears are turning.
Now you're going to do all the things. I'm getting out.
Oh, I'm supposed to be hitting the lap button when we do a new episode,
Oh, whoops.
but I have not done that.
What's that? Two episodes so far?
Two so far. And I have all sorts of ES Presence things to open.
Look at that. Yeah, you do.
Golly, they make you click a lot of buttons to open a link, and
Google Documents. Yep.
yeah. Is that a different one? Am I get? Are these all different?
You got the case in there. You don't have the link to the base stations on Tindy.
Oh, you're right.
You've got my first blog and my second blog, and then
I could get there from here.
the case. Yeah, you can.
The base station has the case.
The base station comes with the case. Yeah.
Look at all these styles and.
I can probably talk a lot about this.
Oh, I'll bet you can. You can talk as much or as little as you want to, and I'm going to put this piece of carbon over here before I get a splinter. Oh, that's a mother. I have one.
Yes.
It hasn't come out yet.
I'm not
There's
laughing.
one right here. So, Mr. Brian Moses, I hear you've been using something called ES Presence to trigger some of your home automation. How the heck does that work?
Well, it's really interesting. I use it. I guess it's not a. Well, it's a trigger of sorts, but it's a presence detection software. It runs on ESP32 development boards, and it uses its Bluetooth functionality to track Bluetooth devices. So in my particular case, I have it tracking my watch. And what I ran into a long time ago is I got a motion sensor in my office, and I wanted to use it to control my lights. Except for most of the time I'm in my office, except when I'm on the blog, I'm not moving around very much. And you know, if you don't register motion, the lights eventually turn off. And there's no good way to do it. I wound up doing a lot of time-based stuff. You know, if I don't move for hours, then it would turn the lights off. But that doesn't work very well. And
Well, it's wasteful
It's-
when they stay on for
yeah,
a long time.
it is wasteful.
Not that lights are expensive to run.
But
Home automatic lights would have been fantastic when we were kids, and you had 8 60-watt light bulbs to dimly light a room. Right?
yes,
And
yeah.
now,
Now so much with all of these LED bulbs, it's not nearly the savings that it used to be. And what I wound up doing is I use ES Presence to detect when I've left the room to go ahead and turn off the lights. I use the motion coming into the room to turn on the lights, but then the lack of my, when my watch leaves this room, then the lights get turned off. It waits 5 minutes first, but it turns off my lights in my office a
So,
few minutes
how
afterwards.
do you work this? Do you just have one ESP32 in your home,
I
in
have
your office, and
I have one in my I have 5 across my house, but in all of the rooms
5 of them? That must have cost thousands of dollars.
No, they're not. They're pretty cheap. They're like $5 on Amazon, I think.
Okay.
I might be off on my prices there. Yeah, the ESP32.
So for $50-$100, you can put these all over your house and
yeah,
track devices.
all together. Here, I wound up. This is one.
Well, where can we get that, Tubby?
Well, after I wrote a blog a few months ago about ES Presence after learning about it and immediately, sitting down and getting it all set up and working in my house. And then some of the feedback that I got on that blog were from people that were interested and didn't have access to all the things that you needed to have access to. primarily the 3D printer. I mean, I guess lots of people don't have 3D printers or easy access to 3D printers. And I told,
Tubby, I have an ESP dev board for on the tracker in my recliner over here.
uh-huh,
The chair pressure sensor. Do you know what kind of case it's in?
foam.
I
No,
wrapped electrical tape around it a whole bunch and stuffed it into the chair somewhere. It's just hiding in there. It's not. I didn't even do a good job, Tubby. I just did it fast and threw it in. You're doing a good job because you have nice,
think you did a
pretty
good
3D printed cases.
Yeah, when I did my first blog, I wound up finding somebody else's print. His name is Roger with a 0 on printables.com, and he has a great model, and I use that. Those are in on those 5 across my house. But after the people asked me about cases, I decided that I would design and print cases and sell them on my Tindy store for everybody's ESP32 projects, not just ES Presence. Um, that's one of them.
That's yours, and you read you in OpenSCAD.
This is my design in OpenSCAD, and it's up on Printables, and anybody can download it and print it for free. And anybody who doesn't have access to a printer, they can just go to my Tindy store and place an order. There's I think 7 styles in these I don't know what to call. They're ventilation holes or
Yeah.
signal penetration gaps. I don't know what to call them. I just called them styles. And then in addition to that, on Tindy, I'm selling a whole base station kit that's ready to go, flashed with ES Presence. You get the little USB power brick, the cable, and the ESP32 and case, all in this little kit.
And it's all flashed, and I imagine when you get it home, you plug it in, it'll look like a Wi-Fi access point, so you can connect to it and configure it.
Yeah, you plug it in, and it'll be an access point that you connect to and punch in the details about your Home Assistant server and the MQTT credentials. And then that's about it.
Well, it's cool that somebody doesn't have to figure out how to flash ES Presence. I'm sure it's not terribly difficult, but I know a lot of people don't like to bother with things like this.
Yeah, it's really easy to do. In fact, I would tell everybody to just go out, buy some cheap ESP32 dev boards and tinker with it, because I think that's a lot of fun. But there are a lot of people who don't think that's fun. I don't want to say it's intimidating, but it's hassle and work. And I just
Well, and if this is one of the first things you're doing with Home Assistant, you have to figure out how to install Home Assistant, figure out how to set up Home Assistant, figure out how to set up MQTT, figure out how to flash ES Presence, figure out how to configure ES Presence. There's like 7 steps just to get here.
It's a little, I mean, the whole totality of all of that it's a lot, and making that a little bit easier is.
Yeah. If you've been running Home Assistant for 3 years and this is just one more new thing you're going to add today, it's not a big deal to do all of this from scratch. But I could see it being intimidating if you're just starting out.
I agree.
Now you've got me tempted to try this out. Can I buy one of these from you?
Yeah.
On your Tindy store?
In fact,
I do not carry any Bluetooth device. My phone does 2 things. I pick it up in the morning when I wake up, and I tend to put it down here on my desk, and I may never touch it again until I go to sleep sometimes. So it doesn't really track it, but it does go back with me when I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Always. Because I want it in there just in case.
I use the one in my bedroom. I have one in my bedroom, and when I've got a anytime that my phone is charging and my watch is in my bedroom, I've decided that I'm asleep. And then, that's one of the triggers to turn off all the lights in my office. I don't need the lights on
Yeah.
when I'm asleep.
I don't have automation again yet to turn my espresso machine on in the morning because it doesn't know when I'm awake. I do it on my phone manually. I'm a
Yeah.
barbarian. I turn on my espresso
Goodness.
machine, and I almost always make 2 espressos during the day towards the morning, but there's no predictability on when that's going to be. And I cheat. I reach behind the espresso machine and I push the button on the smart switch to just shut it off so it's ready for the next day. I've been doing this for months like this, like a caveman.
This
And I need to set up
It's
some
tragic.
logic.
this pains me in my soul, in my
I
home,
know, right?
in my home automating soul.
And I used to have this automated too.
Yeah.
5 years ago, before I was using OpenHabit. It was fantastic. It would fire up in the morning. It would shut off at the right time. It would turn back on again if I left the house and came home, just in case I wanted a coffee when I came home. It was fantastic, and I need that again.
But
Because
now
it's not like a coffee like a Mr. Coffee. It needs at least 20 minutes to warm up, and more time is better. So
Yeah.
all the parts get warm. I need
Yeah.
this stuff. And I heard, Tubby, I know you don't have them in your store, but I heard you can wire up various things like humidity and temperature sensors to these ES Presence boards.
Yeah, the ES Presence has a few different builds, but that supports like motion sensors, humidity, temperature. There's a weight sensor that it says it supports.
I feel like I'd have trouble aiming these anywhere where a motion sensor would help me, but I would love to have humidity and temperature
Yeah,
in every room. That would
Just-
be nice.
just to have it, not even necessarily to use with
Yeah.
ES Presence, but to have ES Presence feeding that into your home automation.
Yep.
Yeah, I would.
I'm always curious when my allergies are bothering me if the humidity's low in the
Okay.
house. But yeah, you could see the humidity outside, but that doesn't tell with the AC running. That's taking a lot of humidity out of the air, so I don't really know what it is
Yeah.
in the room. I feel dumb. I don't have any humidity sensors anywhere.
Well,
I don't think
we'll have to fix that.
we might have to.
Yeah, I haven't decided it yet. I talk about it in my blog, but it'd be interesting to design another case like this one that works with one of the different kinds of sensors, so that you could build, I want to say, more feature laden ES Presence base stations.
Yeah. And I don't know that I need all of these sensors in every room, but I checked. I think the humidity sensor is the only one it's not pricey, but it costs as much as, like, I think you could get like a motion sensor, the ESP board, and a temperature sensor from Amazon for the same price as just the humidity sensor.
Okay.
So the humidity sensor doubles the price easily.
Yeah.
But that's still only like $9 or something. It's not,
It's
it's not
going to break
ridiculously expensive.
it's not going to break the bank.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But I'd have to solder them onto everyone. I'd have
Yeah.
to take the time to, or whatever. I'd have to wire them up somehow.
It'd be work.
It's not, I'd have to do work. But I'm excited, Tubby. We'll post a link to your Tindy store. We'll post a link to my Tindy store. You're doing a good job, Tubby. I'm excited.
I'm excited. I'm a little worried that I wound up buying a whole bunch of ESP32 dev boards that I'll never use.
That nobody's gonna buy.
That nobody's ever going to buy. So if you've got a good idea for other ESP32 projects, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe there'll be something that catches my eye.
And Tubby, what you didn't say here is not only can you buy these to not have to flash ES Presence, but you could buy them to support Brian C. Moses and his NAS builds and his blogs and all the content that he puts out for all you fine folks out there, all you friendly folks.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'd appreciate that.
I would appreciate it too. What do you think, Tubby? Is that an episode?
I think that's an episode.
I think that was pretty good. That was 3 already? I'm unaware of the time. Boy, 10 to 10, and we
Right.
only have to do one more.
At least one more.
Yeah, at least one more. I'm happy if we do just one more. Chris says we should do an extra because I published the last episode yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't have more, but I'm okay with that too because then we're more up to date.
We don't have a 2-month-old episode.
I would do either the Gridfinity episode or the Lumen PNP episode. I feel less prepared for the Gridfinity episode because I don't have any prints here. I don't have any new stuff. Zach has all the new stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you've got right there is the batteries.
That's what Zach mentioned in his video.
Yeah, he did.
How am I the only person that tagged something Gridfinity with AAA batteries? Is that how I got mentioned?
I don't. Oh, it was your AAA, not double.
It was the AAA, yeah.
I enjoyed a lot about that video.
I only did the AA one because I had Inteloops and they're a little bit fatter, and the one
Yep.
and then somebody asked me if I do AAAs. I was like, sure. It's just changing a couple numbers.
The Steam controller
Uh-huh.
takes 2 AA batteries, and it's got this funny little lever that you push to pop each one out. The Inteloops do not like to come out of there. They're
Oh.
so fat, and you've got a Jamalama on there, and then you got to pry them out. It's an effort.
They're only like 1/10 of a millimeter fatter.
Yeah, it's not much, but
It's
it's
not
enough.
much at all, but it's enough.
Oh, or we could do the CNC putter. That's a lighter topic. We've done the pick and place every month, and we just did Gridfinity last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Click on that and skip through that a little bit. I think it's neat. I see you clicking on it.
This is a really special project. You don't want to miss it.
Is that
Just
true?
That's what he's
Is
saying.
that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, this is the first time I'm playing a video today. But he's done a good job. He walks through 3D printing a prototype to carving the first one to...
Yeah.
And it looks kind of cool.
It does.
And it's fluffy. This is easy. I haven't been doing a good job checking the chat. We're not doing a good job having viewers tonight.
Yeah, I've been checking the chat. It's just Chris and Ella. Yeah, let's do the
Do you know what Ella did when she got here?
What'd she do?
Well,
She pooped.
Alex and Alexis came in with her, and then they left, and she just sits by the door.
Oh.
I mean, you know that's what she does at home, too.
Yeah.
It's not like this is... But, I'm used to having cats, that when you have cats and you leave,
Like,
they're excited
Okay.
when you come back, but
Well,
they
bye.
just go about their business while you're gone. They're not... But poor Ella, she just wants a friend. She wants
She
her
just-
people.
she wants those people. Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd she do? She get acclimated? She bite anybody in the face?
No, she has not bit anyone in the face. She's rather polite most of the time.
Good.
But before we start this video, before we start talking, this had me wondering what other what other sports we could be CNCing things for. Some of what he's doing in here is not just
Oh, I'm gonna be.
you want a laser
I'm gonna
around
laser.
thing.
I'm gonna laser. I'm gonna laser my softball bat.
Do you know we can engrave with if we had the fourth axis like you're gonna have, we could do that with the CNC too to V carve in round
Yeah.
things. Also, I don't have any of that. I can't help with that. We're going to do a lot of cuts when I edit this because I'm going to skip around the video.
Okay. So make sure that I'm sitting in a different spot in
Yeah,
frame.
so you jump around.
So I get up, jump up, jump up.
Jump around. So, Tubby, this here is Kevin Barnett from Carbide 3D. And, yeah, I don't want to say I'm not usually excited about the stuff he posts on the Carbide channel, but he's been doing a better and better job every month. He's doing a fantastic job lately. And this aluminum CNC putter project of his is, I think it's pretty cool. What do you think, Tubby?
I think it's really interesting. That's not I'm not a big golfer, but that's not a shape that I'm used to associating with any kind of putter I've ever seen.
Well, I've seen a lot of weird putters.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, my father used to, assemble his own golf clubs. You got the Golfsmith catalog, and it had heads and shafts and grips and all different styles. But the pages with the putters, there are all sorts of shapes and sizes even back then.
Okay.
But this one Kevin did, this is a rather custom shape. It's a wedge, but with another wedge and he's doing some really cool 3D tool paths. And he's done a fantastic job because he starts with 3D printing to prototype the size, and it's like he knew this was too small when he did it the first time.
What is this? A putter for ants?
It needs to be at least 3 times bigger, Tubby. At least. And he did a test part out of MDF. This is fantastic because he takes you through his process where he started at the beginning and how he got to his finished product, which he doesn't even consider finished. He thinks he could do a better job next time.
Yeah.
He's got his little signature on the bottom. But I never thought of customizing golf equipment. Tubby, how about you?
No, not in any of the stuff that we've.
Yeah, it would never have occurred to me. And he's got some other parts in here where he talks about you don't have to make a putter from scratch, a putter head from scratch. It really is. You can buy a putter and you can engrave on it.
Yeah.
Patterns, names, funny logos. I don't know, anything you want to. And I'm going to skip ahead, Tubby, again. But there he goes. Doing a fancy toolpath there. He did a lot of post-processing, Tubby. He did a lot of sanding with lots of grits to get and polishing. And this is not a just put it on the machine. Like, we're used to 3D printing a lot of things and just leaving them the way they are.
Yes.
This is polished and shiny. There's a lot of hours put into this. The enamel work.
A ton of work.
So much work. But really cool. So cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. It looks fantastic.
He shows us how he did it, how he did his flip. I'm terrified of flipping work over, Tubby. I've never had to do it. But you need to line everything. If it's off by
just a
bit, the whole thing looks stupid.
Well,
You'll see that seam and the offset. It's like a layer shift in your 3D print.
Yeah, and knowing me, that wouldn't even be the problem that I have. I would have designed it. It'd be 180 degrees the wrong way.
Oh yeah, it's easy to flip it the wrong way.
Yeah.
It'd be 90 or 180 degrees off, and you feel really dumb with that. Or you could get the depth wrong, and you carve into your thing. There's so many things you could do wrong.
3 dimensions.
But I'd love to have an excuse to practice that.
Yeah. It'd be a fun project. What kind of thing would you design today that would involve a flip?
It's a good question. I've been steering clear of all the 3D. I cut so much carbon fiber.
Yep.
I enjoy carbon fiber because it's so strong but everything you do in carbon fiber is going to be 2D. Like, to do a callback to what we were talking about before, Tubby, like this hook doodad. Loop? What do you call that handle? This tiny little handle?
Yeah.
We could cut this shape out of carbon fiber and do a flip to do the sides, but you're going to destroy your end mill carving out all that extra carbon fiber to make the 3D shape.
Yeah.
I mean, when I cut a whole sheet of your duct faces, if I don't do I do all the holes for the M3 screws first. Because if you do 2 holes in a duct face, 2 holes in a duct face, by the time you get to the 10th duct, the M3 holes are too small.
Too small because you've worn down the.
Because you've worn down your end mill because the carbon fiber is so harsh on the.
Interesting.
It's abrasive, is what it is. Yeah, I remember I didn't understand this at first. I was doing them a couple at a time and not changing the end mill. And eventually I'm like, holy crap, I'd have to thread it through the duct face instead of just dropping it through. But I know you want to do some laser engraving on your softball bat.
I do. Yeah. Hopefully that.
I don't have a third axis to do that, to round things like that on the CNC. Nobody's asked, but I have a Shapeoko. Kevin used a newer version of the Shapeoko.
Okay.
Beefier revision, but I could do this if I knew how, and we had aluminum.
I think you can do it. All you need is the aluminum.
Well, yeah, and I could just take the head off of my own putter and stick this one on. Don't even need to buy anything, except for the aluminum.
We could do a 3D image of your face, your head. We could do a little spinning aluminum head.
We have a scan of my head.
I remember
Tubby.
this.
It's terrifying.
It's
the one we did with LiDAR did not work. I'll run that here for sure. That'll be.
It's hysterical, yeah.
Yeah, but the other one, I have an ST now. I have a Blender file of some sort.
Okay.
But it's not watertight. It's all hollow underneath me. It's just the skin.
Yeah.
Not the. And I'm not a Blender guy. I don't know how to close that up at the bottom. I don't know what to do with it.
Just tip it upside down and fill it.
But it has all the
water.
color information and everything. It's me. We can put me in a video game. Would you play that video game?
Probably not. I don't know. Maybe. We need to put you on one of the classes in TF2. I don't know which one. A soldier.
Oh my goodness. Do you know? This is well beyond the episode now, Tubby, but I used to play a game called Saints Row.
Uh-huh.
It's like Grand Theft Auto, but more insane. And they have masks you could buy for the guy that are just giant heads about this wide. They have 4 or 5 TF2 heads. You can have the scout or the heavy or the demo man up on your guy. It's hysterical.
That's funny. If that makes it into the episode, you'll have to put a screenshot in there.
I'll put it right at the beginning. We'll sneak it up there. Did you get the Humble Choice bundle today, Tubby?
No, but I think my billing cycle's different than yours. And it hits.
Well, it's always the first. It's just like us. It's the first Tuesday of every month is when it goes live, and then you can say whether you want it or not.
Huh. No, I haven't looked at it yet.
But I tried a game that I've been excited about that's in there. It's called Deep Rock Galactic. It's a 1 to 4 player co-op FPS that the internet says is a cross between Minecraft and Left 4 Dead. It doesn't make any sense. I don't really know what it's about. I just played the tutorial that showed me how the gun works and how to dig. You dig holes, and some spiders tried to kill me. I don't know if it's any good yet or not.
I don't like spiders.
Our friend Six took over the Brotato subreddit.
Is that... I saw that you said somebody that we knew took over it.
Yeah, it was 6, and I didn't want to tag him.
How do you
'Cause-
take how do you take over a subreddit?
I don't know. Maybe it didn't exist until he did it. Maybe it just created a new subreddit. He said take it over. I don't know what that means. I don't I don't know. But I went to buy this Brotato game because he said the demo is fantastic. So I said, well, maybe I'll just buy it. And you can't buy it. You can install the demo. There's 2 items in Steam. There's a demo in the game, and when you go to the game, it says install demo. So I don't even understand what's going on.
I'm confused. What's Brotato about?
I don't know. Some kind of roguelike top-down shooter.
Okay.
You know, like our old zombie game we used to play, except it's cartoony and you're a potato of some sort.
I like potatoes.
I take that back. You are a brotato.
A brotato.
Yeah, and I clicked on the developer in Steam, and all of their games have a potato in them, either in the name or in the screenshot or the icon. They're all potatoes.
This is a development studio that I can get behind.
Is that our whole night, Tubby?
I think
Did we
so.
do a good job?
Unless we want to
Did
do
you see my hair light?
I saw you had different lights. Is that the? You're over there on the. Yeah.
It really lights up here. It's almost off camera. Not
Turn it-
quite, though.
Turn it back on
It
again.
really needs barn doors so it doesn't light up all the walls.
Okay.
But I don't have... Really what I need, I want a tube, a black tube. But I don't have any tubes that are that big. Yeah,
Seems like you got a 3D printer to solve that.
that's a big print, though. I need like a foot tall black... There it is. I love the Sony autofocus.
I do too. I do too.
Did you watch
except-
the Gerald Undone video today?
I did with Josh Yo.
I enjoyed Josh just hobbiting across the room over and over again, interrupting things. That was fantastic.
I liked when Josh, what did he do? He kneeled down at Gerald's desk.
Yeah, he said Gerald is not standing here.
That part made me laugh.
And he does kind of look like he's standing. His chair is definitely higher than mine is at my desk.
Yeah, I always thought it was a stool that he was sitting
Yeah,
at
it's
some
probably
kind of
a stool.
And that maybe Josh was just making fun of how he's sitting.
Yeah.
Or not making fun, poking fun. I'm adjusting my CPL. Do you see that?
Oh no, what are you adjusting?
The filter.
Oh,
It helps.
yeah, your face got shiny. Like actually shiny.
Yeah. Like
Right there. Yeah.
still shiny. I don't even understand how it works. You turn it until it looks better. That's what I learned on YouTube.
Yeah, that's
How-
pretty much what you
How
do.
do you use a circular polarized filter? Or you turn it until it looks better.
When I used to
I-
try to take pictures of the glass coffee, the double-walled insulated glass.
Okay.
Glass.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a glass mug. It's
Yeah.
clear. Yeah, you would
the
turn it, and
the
some of
coffee's not glass.
No, the mug is.
Yes.
It's more like a cup. I don't know. But you would turn the CPL, and some of the lights would go away, and there'd be reflections on the other side, and you'd turn it more, and some would come back, and some would
Some would-
disappear. I love the way those glasses look, but you cannot photograph them.
Yeah.
You just can't. It's a
Maybe
bummer.
you can. Somebody.
Yeah.
Can.
Well, you'd have to have one light source,
Yeah.
no weird things in the background. You'd have to really set it up to do it.
We're not professional photographers.
No. Well, yeah, I watched McKinnon do his 4-minute, 2-minute Tuesday today
What
about
did he?
taking pictures. I realized you need so much room to set these photos up because he's on one side with the camera, and he's also on the other side of the table with all the incense and things, and it's like the subject is in the center of a large room, and you get to circle it.
Yep.
It's not like when I do photography, I do it here at my desk,
Yeah.
and
you got
there's a wall over here. I
2
can't
feet.
stand over there.
2 feet cubed to work in.
Yeah, and if I go somewhere else in the house, I don't have lighting. I'd have to haul it up. It's not a. We do our best. But I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna stop recording and things because
All right. Thanks
this
everybody
is
who
just
came
more
out.
stuff. Yeah, thank you everybody who came out. It's I think it's just Chris and Ella.
We had
Ella's asleep. We're gonna hit stop here. I'm gonna hit stop on the ZV1,